Hello and welcome to the YAMIBAI podcast. I am your host, the Germ.
And I'm Ghosty. Boo.
How many times is he going to scare me tonight? I do not know. Yamabachi is a series that I have loved. I have watched several times, and I'm really looking forward to doing the podcast. What's your experience there, Ghosty?
It's my first time watching Yamabachi. I'm excited that you brought this to my attention. I never heard of this before. Uh, it's like a kids show that's also a horror show, which is an interesting crossover. I know that that's one of your interests, right?
Yep. Horror show aims at kids is fascinating. Like how the step to make it not too scary but still scary is fascinating. And
Yeah, they're always like on this line between total childhood trauma and
yeah.
entertainment.
I know some shows that definitely don't go above the line.
Yeah, Yamabashi kind of hits a sweet spot for your interests, doesn't it? There's other things you like about it also.
Oh yeah, I love Japanese culture. There's a lot of anime I enjoy, and also the short story genre is always fascinating. Shout out to Creep Show; those are fun. And I'm happy you're here to join me, Ghosty.
Yeah, I'm really excited to do this. We'll see if we can get through all 100 episodes. I think that's 10 seasons.
Yep, 10 seasons,
Um,
100 episodes.
they're only
How
three to
many
five
episodes
minutes
per?
each, so
Yeah, how many episodes per season? We'll never know.
it's lost to time.
Maybe the archaeologist someday digging it out will figure it out, but that's not why we're here. So, shall I get down to the synopsis?
Yeah, let's jump right into it.
Nice and relaxed. Nice and relaxed. We don't want to get scared. Nice and relaxed. Step right up and have a look. It's time for Yamabachi.
I'm already scared.
Episode title: The Talisman Woman. Our main character is dropped off in front of his new apartment. After moving and stuff inside, he relaxes on the floor. And he spots a talisman on his roof. The woman across the street watches it as he takes it down. He closes the blinds. I would for a perv too, I get
Off to a great start.
it. The next day, our main character asks a coworker for help unpacking, but he can't. His coworker has a date with his girlfriend. And
I thought it was interesting that they had this in the episode. Like, what is this trying to convey? That he's lonely, maybe?
I don't want to get too deep into it because I do have some ideas.
Oh, interesting.
I do feel like he's a little bit of a jerk, though. Just a little.
Him or his friend?
His friend. His
Yeah,
friend.
yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit.
The main character goes home alone and finds his door unlocked, spotting another talisman on his ceiling. I know this looks like the same image. I think they reused the same image in the episode.
That's a classic animation trick. Probably a lot of scenes of his apartment are just the same image with different layers over them too.
Oh, yeah. Because they like using backgrounds and then have the characters on top of them. So,
You can end up
probably a
with
lot
way
of.
more detailed images
Oh,
in that
yeah.
way.
Let me just scroll that down a little bit. So he takes the talisman off his ceiling and jump scare. She's in the apartment.
I had the
Ah.
exact same thing in my notes, just capitals, jump scare.
I have an exclamation mark. The main C calls the police and they take her away. And she tries to tell him something from the back of the police car.
This scene kind of confused me a little bit. Maybe it was my subtitles translation was a little bit
Yeah.
awkward. But when she mouthed something in the back of the police car, the subtitles had the guy saying, "Did something just," which I felt like didn't make that much sense for this scene. I was a little
From
bit
my
lost.
memory, like we can't hear her, and he's like, "Is she trying to say something?"
That was how I interpreted
Yeah.
it. But it like if you say it did something just in English, it kind of makes it seem like there was some kind of event happening or something.
Yeah.
Like something happened.
Yeah, I don't remember clear enough for that. Like I've watched this several times. I don't remember that.
I think it might have just been a mistranslation.
Maybe. Like she had the entire time before. Like, we'll talk about it after. Okay. The neighbor, the girl, she left dirty footprints in our main C's apartment, and while cleaning them, he finds more talismans under his table, and of course he tears them off like a madman.
I've had a similar experience at a furnished apartment where I found a bunch of gum stuck on the bottom of the table.
I'd say that's worse. That's a
I
different kind
just
of
left
curse.
them. It's not my problem.
No one was trying to. They
It's a
left you a
problem for the
curse.
next person.
Yeah, they left you a curse. You just pass the buck along. So of course he tears them off, and he starts saying aloud, over and over again, "I don't see anything. I don't see anything." And the camera switches behind him, and there are ghosts looming over. The end.
Ooh, spooky. Nice. It was
So
a
is there
fun
anything?
first episode,
Yep.
honestly. Yeah.
How did you find the first episode, Ghosty?
I really enjoyed it. It hit some themes for me that I've always found really creepy. One of my biggest anxieties or fears, like what I often have nightmares about,
Hmm.
is people in the distance staring at me. So like right
Oh
off the
God.
bat, it hit that creep for me when she was across the street looking through his window and watching him.
Oh, here, let's go
That
back to
kind of
that
stuff
scene.
really creeps me out.
Here, this will make you feel nice and comfortable. I'm gonna go back to that scene.
It's like
There we
the
go.
fact that somebody is watching you from out of reach and there's nothing you can do about it, but you know they're there. That I find that very unsettling. Do you feel the same, or is that
Oh,
just me?
for sure. If I like walked like through the front of my basement naked and I saw someone like across the lawn looking at me, I might pull the blinds over. I might. I don't
Witness
know.
me. I did find there was some things in this episode though that I didn't really fully understand, maybe from like a cross-cultural perspective. Like I don't really know what a talisman is. I had to
uh,
look that up after the fact.
okay, that's a good place to start. Uh,
Yeah, I was a
do you
bit
want to,
confused of
since you
like
looked it up, do you want to explain it?
uh I feel like I understand, but I'm also still a bit confused. I'll explain it and then I'll go on to talk about why I was confused about it, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, go
So
for
I just Googled talisman and read the Wikipedia article.
it.
And it said that talismans are mostly used for protection against calamity or
Mhm.
misfortune, safety within your home, or finding love. And then it went
Often,
on
okay.
to talk about some places you could put them, like on gates, doorways, or ceilings, as in this episode.
You see it in Chinese culture too. They put them in. It's common in like horror movies and scary places to put talismans over cursed things. So like, there's a Chinese monster, I guess you call it, that's like equivalent to our vampire. It
Mhm.
translates to something like jumping corpse,
Mhm.
and they have a talisman over their face because that's supposed to like stop them from being evil, right?
Interesting. I guess what confuses me then is that when he sees the talismans, I guess it's creepy that they're just there,
Yeah.
but he reacts negatively and removes them. And it feels like if it's something to protect you, then that's not what your
Okay,
reaction would be.
you move into a new apartment. There's a picture, there's a poster of the wall of ocean scene life. Do you leave it
I'd
up
tear it
because
down. I wouldn't be creeped out though. He was scared.
no, it is like very ghosty material.
Nice pun. What did you think of this episode? How would you rank it?
I like it quite a bit. Like, let's get into official rankings later.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
As a starting episode, I think it perfectly sets the mood for the whole series. Some like real person like scariness in there, and you're not sure if it's going to go the supernatural route or not.
Yeah, this one was pretty grounded.
Yeah.
Like until the very
Until
end, we
the
didn't
end.
really know if there was
Yeah.
going to be actual ghosts. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about her talking in the back of the police car. Let me go back to that. So she had not talked to him this entire time. It did not occur to her to knock on the door.
Yeah, there's a major like awkward pause between her being in his apartment and calling the police.
Yeah, like she didn't try to talk to him. She didn't knock on his door. She didn't, like, speculation wise, maybe she's tried this with other people and wasn't able to convince them, right?
I guess maybe those were all the spirits or something, but then she waits to like the most dramatic moment and then just
She and I also want to bring this up. If she was trying to be kind and save him, why did she wear dirty shoes into his house?
she must have. I mean, she looked a little bit like she had some psychological issues,
For
but
sure.
maybe that had her more in touch with the spirit realm or something. As far as we know, maybe she actually told him something between that scene where he finds her in his apartment and he calls the police.
Maybe. But then why try to tell him something from the back of the police car?
That's true. Yeah. Do, do you think it's possible that she was cursing him from the back of the police car, or
See, that's one of the interesting
do you
things
think
about
she
this
was warning
episode.
him?
It's up to
Yeah.
interpretation.
Mm.
I think it leans towards that she's trying to protect him, is what I think it leans towards.
That was my
Because
interpretation also.
talismans are usually used to keep evil away.
Mhm.
But
Should we kind of move more into what we think like the metaphors and like different
let me
like
look at
deeper
my
parts of this episode
notes.
were?
How cheap do you think the apartment was? If people keep dying in it.
It's probably even the building looked kind of old and dated. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it must be cheap. Like, there's no question. Another question I had was, do you think the talisman's power stacks? Like, do you think if she just put one, it'd be okay? But
Maybe the ghosts were getting more powerful or something. That's why there was one, and then she felt the need to break in and add like 20 more, however many were on the bottom of that table.
and we never saw a step ladder.
Did she put them back on the roof again? I feel like they were
There
just on the
was
bottom of the
one
table.
on the roof. I remember from the dual image. Remember he went in and he spotted it on the roof again.
Oh, I see. I see.
It was like
Maybe she just threw it.
he had to reach up to get it. I don't know if I have that scene or not. Oh wait, it's the one where she's looking through the window. Yeah, he had to like reach up to get it.
Uh,
So
maybe he
maybe
stood on the table or
maybe
something.
yeah, that would be hard to put up. Pressed out her her flexibility, agility there. Uh, Another thing that jumped out at me is he loves laying down on his floor.
I think that's kind of more typical in Japan. I don't actually know, but sitting on the floor would be considered more normal. So
I
maybe
was
lying on the
wondering
floor would
if
be
that
okay
was
too.
a thing or not.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is.
But I can tell you one thing that's for sure is a Japanese thing. They hate it when people wear dirty shoes in their houses. This is a,
Oh, I hate that too.
yeah, but
That's
this is a
universal.
in a lot of American culture. Like you're expected to wear shoes into people's houses. Not everywhere, but a lot of places.
Yeah, on some TV shows they even like wear shoes on the bed, which is kind of savage.
That is very savage. But I know in a lot of Japanese media I see they swap shoes when they go in the house, maybe to slippers or something.
Mm-mm.
Like, so I think this is like a red herring to make you think she's not up to any good.
Oh, I thought it might be a metaphor for like him judging her, like, oh, these dirty footprints, she's a
Oh,
savage,
that's
that kind of thing.
interesting.
There's definitely something to this, the fact that he has to clean her dirty shoes off the floor, but I have no idea what it could mean.
So I think that's a perfect way to go into themes and metaphors of the episode.
Let's do it.
Do you want to give your thoughts first?
Yeah, one thing I'm curious about where
Yeah.
you've seen more episodes, you've mentioned that they vary in like what the animation looks like, right?
They tend to stick to this style, but they do change a lot.
Ah, okay, cool. I liked the paper animation style. I was wondering if it was like to go along with the paper that the Talisman was on or something.
Oh, that's interesting. No, this is the style of the mostly of the this show.
That makes sense. Yeah. Then my other main thought was just the kind of like the judgment, I guess, of her wearing the dirty shoes in the house and the judgment of her appearance when she was on the other side of the street. And even when she was in the back of the police car, she was still looking kind of creepy. And I feel
Yep,
like he was kind of mostly basing that off appearance for the most part until
a
he found
hundred
her in the
percent.
apartment. Yeah.
And she broke into his apartment. I think that
That
one
could
we can give him though.
that part, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can give him that one.
Yeah, she was definitely unwell looking though, and like the women were like judging her and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the women were judging her. That's right. Yeah, she does not look healthy in that photo. I think this is the most clear view we see of her. Maybe the police car.
The police car is pretty clear.
Yeah.
It zooms in when she's like mouthing the words.
Yeah. Oh yeah, look at those women gossip. Look at them go.
Some prime gossip though when somebody gets arrested.
So
Ooh,
I think the
what
themes of the
stuff is-
episode,
Yeah.
unless you want to say anything else.
No, that's it. Go ahead.
Just give me a second. The image had to catch up. Okay. I think it's loneliness and suicide.
I see.
Yeah, if we
Okay,
go
that
back
makes a lot of
to
sense.
he's blowing him off to not help.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about. Where I was like, is he a bad guy or something? Like, why is this guy avoiding him? What's the meaning of this scene?
I think he just didn't want to bother the new person at school, at work.
It seemed like a coworker, but
Yeah, like I
or like at least a
think.
friend.
Yeah, he
But
did.
like his body language is like he hates that guy. He's like sad.
I don't think he like hate from my interpretation. I don't think he hates the guy. I think he just doesn't want to bother with him.
Uh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that interpretation. Then at the end, it's like these are all other lonely people that have lived
Yeah.
in the apartment that have succumbed to
And
suicide.
if you look, none of their feet are touching the floor, and their heads
Oh
are
yeah,
forward, almost like they hung themselves.
that's a very deep interpretation. I think it's a little bit of a hardcore metaphor for kids, though. Do you think?
That is a very good question.
I,
But
I can see it being for
it-
kids. It's just as simple as there's ghosts. It's spooky. But I like your analysis of their feet not touching the floor too. That's a good observation.
I originally noticed it as a joke because she left dirty footprints and they're not leaving any footprints at all.
Oh yeah.
And then I thought about it and went, wait, they're not touching the floor. Because they're a good, like, foot off the floor. Like, that's him in the foreground. It's hard to tell.
And that head angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was polite of them not to leave any footprints on the floor, like a certain someone.
At least he doesn't have to clean up any more footprints. Did you have any
So
other thoughts on this episode?
that was my main thing. I think it's about loneliness and suicide.
I didn't really have a direct metaphor like that, so I like
And
that.
suicide is a big thing in Japan.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Whether or not a kid show it would hit on it is a good question.
I mean, I guess they know this would be consumed by adults too. You can make things like have actual meaning for adults while still just being basic for kids.
This theory only occurred to me like third or fourth time watching it through.
That's a benefit of the short episodes, I guess. We can really analyze, like we analyze like pretty much every scene of this episode.
Oh yeah, I'm like that's why I love having the image up with it so we can see it while we're talking about it. So, out of 10, what would you rate this episode? And keep in mind, since Ghosty has not seen any other episodes, he is giving it a personal score.
Yeah, I've got no reference, so I kind of feel like I should put it around like an average kind of range, just as a baseline.
Don't
But I
worry
did
about
like it.
reference, just how much you liked it. That's what you base it off of.
I'm gonna give it a 7. It was a little bit predictable.
It was a little
But it was still
predictable.
enjoyable and it was pretty creepy. A solid
Seeing
7 out of 10.
keeping one episode I think is really good at 10 out of 10, and another episode I can think of 1 out of 10. I would give this one a little harsher 6 out of 10.
Oof. What makes you pick that?
I feel like it's a very average episode. Not bad, certainly, but an average episode of Yamabashi.
Do you think it's like very predictable or just like
No,
nothing that innovative as far as concepts like ghosts, talismans, like creepers, and outside the
there
window?
there is a lot of build-up, but I feel like the interest factor, the reveal, they're very average for this series. So, funny enough, it's like the perfect episode to introduce it.
I'm sure that was intentional.
Maybe. So, let me do some quick math. Uh, so you gave it a 7. I gave it a 6. 7 plus 6 is a number.
13 out of 20.
Shh, I'm trying to work here. I'm also looking of where I left that. It should be right here, but I don't see it. So the the final ranking of this episode is it's number 1 on our list
So far.
so far.
It's also the last one on our list.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for this episode. Yeah. So I wonder where the next episode will lead us.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's not really any indication like where they're going to go with these different storylines. So looking forward to the next one.
The next episode's title, Zambai? Yeah, Zambai, if I remember rightly.
I have no idea what that means.
Oh, you'll know it as a word by the end of the episode. Thank you for joining us. I've been the Germ, joined by.
Ghosty.
I hope you decide to join us again for Yamabachi.
Later.